the most important thing, whether you have a church and you're trying to get your membership up, you're a business, you want to get more customers, or you have a cause that you're really trying to advocate for, the main thing you have to start to understand is that before you can reach your goal, there are two things that have to happen. First of all, they have to know you exist. Okay, so the most important thing is awareness. And so with these tools like Facebook, like blogs, YouTube, Twitter, all of those things are about driving awareness. Now, another thing is that once people become aware of you, then they have to trust you. They have to trust you. So you have to have awareness, have to know you exist, then they have to trust you. And then once they trust you, then they're much more likely to buy your product, join your cause, partner with you, so on and so forth. So that's really the process that we're talking about. And no matter how much social media you do, if what you have to sell or what your cause is not compelling, it's not going to matter. The reason that we wanted to work with you, Hoover, is because you have great food.
Well, I appreciate that.
You know, because here's the whole
Is that
thing.
amen, I heard?
That's the amen.
Okay,
That's
amen
the amen.
corner.
So, you know, the most compelling thing that every time I mention that I'm working with Hoover's cooking, people go, man. It's like they always say, man, the smoked chicken they got is the best chicken I ever had. It's better than my dad makes. Or the meatloaf is amazing. So you have something that is compelling.
So the recipe for family fights saying that we cook better than somebody's dad?
That's right.
Wow.
That's right. That's
Okay.
right. That's right.
Okay.
So, and you really, as a business person or as an advocate, you really need to start to think about what it is what's your story? First of all, what is your story? And why should anybody care? That's the most important thing. Once you start to understand what your story is and why anybody should care, then that starts to inform how you can start to use social media in order to find the people that are interested in the same things that you are and connect with those people. Okay? So I think there's basically, I did have some slides, but we had some technical difficulties. So
It's the maiden voyage.
I'm just gonna go through this. Okay, bear with me. So, you know, the very most important thing I think that you can do, and you were saying that you don't do any social media, and it's funny because I'm teaching my mother social media right now. She's actually editing her website. She might be looking right now. She's actually editing her website right now as we speak. And we're using
your mother.
My mother.
You've already got her up to speed to edit. You trying to make me feel like for real dumb.
Well, okay. It's like editing, like in Word. Okay, it's not. She's not doing code.
Okay.
She's not coding.
Okay.
The pages are made, but she's adding her content.
Okay.
To them. Okay.
Okay.
And so and she just got on Facebook like a month or two ago.
Wow.
And the most important things when you start off is that you don't want to just necessarily jump right in. I think the most important thing is to listen and to observe. And you start to see how people are using it. And a lot of that stuff you won't find useful at all.
Yeah, I have found that.
Okay.
There's so much junk out there.
There is a lot of junk out there. And to your point about time, who has time to just kind of randomly go out there and make up stuff? And that's where you really need to focus in on what your narrative is and who are the people that you want to start to communicate with. So I would start off, and the way a lot of people start off is you join a social network like a Facebook. You start to find friends. You start to do searches about things that you're interested in. For me, I'm into media and technology. So there's a large, I'd say probably, aside from people I went to high school with 20 plus years ago, I'd say I've got, 1,100 friends. I'd say probably 600 of those are people in media. Mm-hmm. Okay?
So y'all are sharing things and interests you have in common, basically.
Right, right. It's just so, and that's a great thing about social networks. Like, let's say you play tennis. Well, I'm sure there's there's a website called Meetups. I'm sure you could go on Meetup and find a group that meets up specifically just to play tennis. Okay? So it's the type of thing where you start to find those people that are interested in the same things that you're interested in. And that's how you start to kind of get your groove, if you will, and find what it is that's useful for you.
Well, Carl, this being new to Hoover's Cooking, new to me particularly, we're obviously trying to find our audience out there. And so the folk we're looking at are people that have an interest in good food. And as we've talked about developing our marketing campaign, folk that can appreciate the difference in from scratch cooking, or that we can educate and show. And I know a lot of what we've talked about is a picture speaks 1,000 words, and you know, and some of the content that you're building for our website will speak to that. I still want to get a little help and direction on how do we reach those people, those common denominators, the folk we're actually trying to attract for who we are, what we do, and what our story is, as you described it, as you call it.
Well, it's good that you say that. I think first of all, with the imagery that we already do have on your website, we went to a local garden
that was fun.
Here in Austin. So we actually took pictures at a local garden. We started to engage with those people in the community, and then we want to use your website and the infrastructure there to be able to tell that story. So we've started to tell that story, but we're going to start to go deeper into it. I think that theme continues to be weaved throughout about local farmers or organic food, real food, and even in the tailgating recipes that we shot, we had local farmers come in and they donated ingredients. And then we incorporated those ingredients in the tailgating recipes that we did. So I think that the idea is that you want to start to find those ways that fit naturally with what you're already doing, and start to leverage that and collaborate. I know that we started to reach out to some of those groups and have them come to Hoover's and have some of their events here. That's really a great way. And also the thing about social media is that you can't do it just online. You have to do stuff in person too. Okay? I have a social network called Media Experiments where I communicate with my students. I have 700 kids on my website. Okay? And I probably know 300 of them. Like, I've met them. Okay? And what happens is that when you meet people in real life and then you connect with them through social media, it makes it a much more stronger bond between you, and it's something that you continue to do over time. So it's something that you have to nurture and you have to kind of angle for. So we got to start finding those people that are into the same stuff that you're into. So we've already identified some of those groups, but now they have their own little social media groups. So maybe we need to become members of those and start to become more active in those. It's just like, let's say you're in human resources. So you join the Association of Human Resources, So it's a matter of finding those people that are into the same things that you are, and then connecting with them in a real, authentic way. Okay, and that's the most important thing. So that's a big thing. You got to start off by listening to people, finding the people that, hey, I like what this person has to say, or this group, what they represent. I want to be a part of that, and start to do the interactions there. Once you've kind of gone through that listening phase, then you need to start really telling your story. And I'll say this for me, I started off as a programmer. I used to do Flash programming, which is, a lot of the fancy stuff, animation and that kind of stuff you see on the web is done in Flash. And I was a snob, quite frankly. And, blogs have been around for, how long have blogs been around? 10 years?
12, yeah.
10, 12 years?
Wow.
2 years ago, you said blog. I said, man, you're crazy.
It was beneath you.
Yeah, it was beneath me.
Wow.
I'm a Flash guy. You know, but what I started to
See,
realize...
I thought both of those were superheroes, Flash.
Flash.
And blogs. So much for my skill set. So
Hey, you know, they may be. They may be.
Okay.
Yeah, so for me, what I started to realize is that I had a Flash site, but I had like 20 people a month visiting it.